Do you want to know what part of your game needs to improve to get to the next level? A lot of people think that it's this area that really will differentiate between beginner and intermediate or advanced players.
And it can be really confusing with deciding what to do when. So in this video, we're gonna help you with decision making in the transition zone, as well as some drills that are gonna help you feel very comfortable in this area of the court.
And be sure to stay tuned till the end of this video, because we're giving away $1,000 worth of Selkirk store credit, split evenly between 5 lucky winners. So go ahead and stay tuned to see how to enter.
So the first thing that we're gonna go through is decision making in this transition zone. Now, a lot of times people will say you always have to hit a drop or you always have to hit a reset. While that's actually not true. So I'm gonna give you a pro tip that's gonna help you decide if you're gonna attack the ball, reset the ball, or drop the ball. And we are gonna be talking about the traffic light attack zones. So it's really important to remember that the transition zone is here for you to transition from the baseline to the kitchen line. So the point isn't to hang out here. The point is to get up and gain real estate to the best place on the court, which is the kitchen line. Now, with that being said, the key to understanding how to hit your shot isn't necessarily the ball that's given to you, but it's actually more about what your opponent is doing and how their paddle is mirroring, giving you a hint of what they're going to do. So like I said, you're going to want to be looking at your opponent and where their paddle is positioned to give you a hint on how to handle this area. So if you hit a drop or a reset and you see that your opponent across from the net has their paddle up shoulder high or above, that's a red light in the sense that you should not move forward, okay? Because their paddle is in attack zone. Like, I'm going to attack the ball. Now, if their paddle is mirroring right here from like waist to chest level, that is like a yellow light, okay? That means I might do something scary here, so proceed with some caution. Now, if their paddle is down here, that's a green light. That's for you. That means come on in. I'm not gonna do anything scary. So it's really important to not just make a decision off of the ball you give your opponent, but it's actually more advantageous for you to make your decision based on what your opponent is mirroring to you that they're going to do. So a drill that I really love that will help you practice decision making in this area is called the workup drill. So how it's gonna work is the person that's at the baseline is going to be working their way up to the kitchen. You're gonna have your opponent situated on the opposite side of the kitchen, and they're going to start with feeding you a ball, simulating a return in the game. Again, your job here is to let that ball bounce because that's the return, and you're gonna work your way up to the kitchen line. Again, remember, the whole point of this is to watch what they're doing and watch their paddle positioning in order to give you a hint of whether to move forward and advance to the kitchen line or stay where you are, or maybe even back up. So this is how it's gonna look. So I'm gonna let that bounce. And so I'm coming up because I'm seeing that paddle position is pointing down. So because his paddle's below that net level, that's that green light inviting me to make my way up to the kitchen line. So I'm staying back because these are really high and I'm seeing that that paddle tip is up here in that attack zone. So that to me signifies, hey, stay back here at the baseline because an overhead is coming. My best advice for those middle balls is to just set your feet. So if you get a yellow ball, stop, set your feet, and just get ready for what's gonna come. That's gonna really help you make a better decision. Now, just to recap, again, you really wanna be looking at what your opponent is doing that will signal for what you to respond with. So if that paddle tip is below the net, that's that green light for you to come in. The yellow zone from like hip to kind of chest level, that's that yellow light. Proceed with caution. Okay, know that something could happen. And if it's way up here, paddle tip above your shoulder, that's attack. You probably want to stop and stay back. So now that we've talked about your opponent's traffic light zones, Now let's talk about your traffic light zones. So the cool thing is you can hit a variety of shots in this transition zone area depending on the ball that they give you. So if they're giving you a ball that's way up here, as long as it's not going out, that's a green ball for you to attack. Now, if they're giving you a ball that's from your hip to that chest level, that's probably a yellow light ball. You could attack it if your feet are set and you're balanced and you feel like you have that shot, but it is a proceed with caution type of scenario. Now, if they give you a ball that's gonna be landing from your kind of thigh or below, that's probably a red ball that you do not want to attack, and you probably just want to reset it. And that way you won't be vulnerable to a hitting in the net or hitting it out. So a great way to practice this is something that we call a reset drill. Again, it doesn't mean that you reset every ball, but it means that you have one person that's set up in the middle of the transition zone and your opponent set up at the opposite side kitchen line. Now, their job is to feed speed ups at you, okay? And you have to decide what zone it's in for you to respond correctly. So remember, if it's up high, that's a green light attack. If it's here, this is the yellow ball, it's a proceed with caution. You can attack it, you can't, depends on if you're balanced or not. And then if it's down here, that's definitely red, you wanna reset. So that's an example of getting 2 red balls and then getting that pop-up for a green ball. Now you can basically do this progression back and forth and just do 5 minutes and then switch with your partner. Again, this is a really great drill to help you with decision making on the types of shots to hit in the transition zone based on what you're receiving from your opponent. Thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the PlayPickleball.com YouTube channel. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, leave them in the comments below.
And as we mentioned before, we're giving away $1,000 worth of Selkirk store credit, split evenly between 5 lucky winners. To enter the contest, click this link, or you can find this link in the description below.
And don't click away because we have another video coming your way.